All right, happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome on into the Hat Creek Interior Studios for a beautiful Tuesday night daily broadcast. Glad you're with us wherever you join us tonight on YouTube, Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland, on Facebook, Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland, all free. Hit share, hit like, do all that stuff, invite your friends in, and then on Twitter X at Ryan Hyatt Media. Everybody getting in on the United Supermarkets chat line, the supermarket and the grocery store chain that supports Texas Tech as opposed to the one that takes your money and sends it down to Austin. So, what do we got tonight? It's Tuesday, college football rankings and all that cool stuff. Open day for Texas Tech. I think everybody's enjoying it. Players, fans, media, everybody just take a deep breath. And we can start to focus on Tech basketball later on this week. Lady Raiders undefeated so far. Men have a huge opportunity down there in the Bahamas. Wake Forest, and then a chance at number one Purdue. Will they take advantage of it? So we got Texas Tech football, but tonight a little sports hate Tuesday. All right, a little sports hate Tuesday. With open date and everything, we can kind of expand, stretch our legs a little bit, and have these discussions. Hat tip Mike Gustafson on his radio show in Lubbock today, former Red Raider baseball player, good dude. And they were talking about sports hate, basically, teams you hate. So I'm like, all right, that sounds good. Give us the teams, college and pro, the which ones you hate and why. Which teams do you hate? Sports hate, and maybe it's a visceral sports hate. But who are the teams you hate and why? Anything else under the sun tonight you want to talk about? By all means, let's do it. That's horrible product placement. I apologize to everybody involved in the production of the program tonight. There you go. Smooth. In three, in two. Good evening, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt, TheRaiderland.com, coming to you from the Hat Creek Interior Studios, custom furniture and accessories waiting for you at 10101 South Slide Road in Lubbock. Check out the showroom. Hey, maybe you don't live in Lubbock. You can't just fall on by. You go to hatcreek.us, you check out all the cool furniture they have, and then they ship to you. White glove service, the best in the business. Not from like Dallas to Denver. I'm talking from like East Coast to West Coast. Nobody does it better than Corey Flanagan and the crew at Hat Creek Interiors. So after that, you get a little hungry, right? Okay. Gators Bayou, 98th and Slide Road. Cajun food, hot. Cajun pasta. I think my favorite thing there is Cajun pasta or the shrimp po' boy. Either one. Take your pick on that. But they got so much stuff in between. But if you do get the Cajun pasta the first time you go in, please start on the mild side and work your way on up. I don't know what your tolerance level is for spicy and heat foods, so kind of work your way up on that. And of course, Ninja Pest Control in Lubbock. I didn't know until this summer when I started learning about Ninja Pest Control that ninjas hate things. And you know what ninjas hate? Pest. You know what ninjas kill? Pest. They kill them inside your house, outside your house. And that's one of the cool things they do with Ninja Pest Control in Lubbock is they create that barrier outside your home to try to keep them from getting there because ninjas are really good about that. But yeah, Ninja Pest Control. Who knew? All right, let's get it going tonight. Sports hate, college and pro, all sports, any and all sports. Baseball, football. Do you get the idea? NASCAR. Teams you hate. You tell me why. Anything else on your mind? Let's go. There you go. Hi there, Stacy on YouTube. James getting in with thumbs up on Facebook and off our YouTube channel. Dylan gets in. By the way, that's Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland on YouTube. We want 700 subscribers by the end of the week. You can make it happen. Ready to jump in early. The 2002 New England Patriots beat my favorite team in Super Bowl 37. Down went Goliath. I haven't enjoyed the NFL since. Well, that clears that up. Michael on YouTube. I heard Chris Level say Tech fans this weekend can root for a BYU and Colorado win. Why is that? All right, so here's the deal. If BYU wins this week and Arizona State loses, Texas Tech and BYU are locked into the Big 12 title game. So if you're looking for, I assume that's what he's talking about from that standpoint. That if you want to get locked in before you even go play at West Virginia next week, that's what you want. You want BYU to win. You want Arizona State to lose. Sam Levitt, by the way, out. What a weird ending to the Sam Levitt tenure at Arizona State with injuries and Dillingham saying he's staying and everything, and it's just weird stuff going on. Meanwhile, there you go. BYU wins, Arizona State loses, BYU Tech, Big 12 title game. All of that's great. None of it changes anything Tech has to do, in my opinion, to either be 3 in the college football playoffs, the 3 seed, protected seed, or 10. Obviously, you got to beat West Virginia. When you get to the Big 12 title game, you got to win it, or you're barely going to get in to the college football playoff. If you do win it, you're going to be 3 seed. The Big 12 conference has if it's Texas Tech, by the way, not BYU, not anybody else. Texas Tech has a date with the 3 seed if they win the Big 12 title game. If they don't, they'll still get in, but that's the way it go. So, yeah, would it be nice for Tech to go to West Virginia knowing that you don't have to win? Yeah, I guess, but it's still, why would you lose? Why would you want to do that? Robert, you're always thumbs up, Hyatt. I'm just going to assume that's a good thing. James, as an Avs fan, I must hate the Stars in hockey. Now, James is a good Texan, good West Texan. How did you become an Avalanche fan? What year did it happen? Can you show us on the doll where they hurt you on that, right? Can't believe I shook his friggin' hand. Avalanche Red Wings, 98, somewhere through there. Michael gets in on YouTube. Should Texas Tech try to get Sam Levitt if he goes into the portal? He's going into the portal. Everything seems to indicate from all reports that Arizona State quarterback Sam Levitt, the beat up, injured, bad foot, and whatever else quarterback who's dynamite when he's healthy, goes into the portal. Should Tech try to get him? No. I think you can do better. I really do. And that's with me saying that I think Sam Levitt's a really good quarterback and a good passing quarterback. The type of quarterback I'd like to have, I think predominantly, and by the way, the exact quarterback that I think could hurt Texas Tech's defense this year more than any other style of quarterback. So do I think they should go for him? No. He's damaged goods. I like my quarterbacks healthy. James, Avs, Red Wings, conference finals 96 made me a fan for life. It was a great conference finals. Meanwhile, back on YouTube, the Red Raider for life. Levitt, foot injury, I would be cautious. I agree. I see no reason if you're Texas Tech, when this season is over, you can look around and you no longer recruit, you select. You no longer recruit if you're Texas Tech, you select. And you look around, and you go, okay. And I do think quarterback is a position you need to go selecting at, because I don't know that Hammond. We don't know what Hammond will look like when he recovers from his injury. Harsh reality. And part of what made him attractive was his ability to move. If that is gone, he is not the same quarterback. Harsh reality. So do I believe Tech needs to be looking at a quarterback or 2 or 3 in the transfer portal? Absolutely 100%. But you don't have to take a guy who's been beat up. You don't have to take a guy who's been hurt. Again, I like Levitt. I think he's a good quarterback, but I think you can probably do better. You got the money, you got the cap space, as we might say, in the National Football League. All right, so it's Tuesday night, Sports Hate Tuesday. Give me the teams, college and pro, all sports, football, basketball, baseball, anything else. Which teams do you hate and why? You hate any teams in the Big 12? You hate any teams in college football, basketball? NFL fans, who do you hate? Cowboy fan, who do you hate now if you're a Cowboy fan? It's got to be the Eagles at the front of the line, right? If you're any sort of Cowboy fan, the Eagles have had more success over the last 25 years. You got to be my age to really have anything against the Redskins. I'm sorry. The Commodores. Giants no longer matter. You know, who are the teams that you hate? Hat tip Mike Gustafson if you're watching tonight. Yeah, I was cruising home listening to his show. They're on 90. I'm going to mess it up. 97.3 in Lubbock. And they were just talking about teams you hate. James was Dale Earnhardt Sr. versus the Rainbow Warrior in NASCAR, the best hate marketing in sports. They both made money off it. Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt Sr. They paid it up great. I mean, best hate marketing in sports. We would probably have to go to, professional wrestling in the 80s and 90s and the manufactured rivalries and everything else, maybe to find anything like that. But yeah, within NASCAR, yeah, they did a great job on that. I don't know, maybe one of the best hate marketing in sports was Brian Bosworth in the 80s manufacturing T-shirts that said, I hate the Boz and stuff like that. And he was selling the shirts. Jeff on Facebook, Ryan Heights Raiderland. A&M hate to the death, no explanation needed. Oh, feel free to give me an explanation. You can do it. It's okay. Red Raider for life on our YouTube channel, Ryan Heights Raiderland. By the way, everybody on YouTube, if you can, hit that like and share button, grow it, invite your friends. That'd be huge. And we good time right now to talk about the power of 5. The power of 5 in Raiderland is this. If every night 5 people who watch our broadcast, the daily broadcast, go to our sponsors' social media pages, Facebook, Twitter, whatever it may be, Hat Creek Interiors, United Supermarkets, Gators Bayou, Ninja Pest Control, and just drop them a line and say, hey, thanks for supporting what they do in Raiderland. We appreciate you being a part of Ryan Heights Raiderland. Can't wait to shop with you, but thanks. That is so huge. And I say this and I say it again, not just for my media, but any media you enjoy, radio shows, podcasts, anything else. Go to the sponsors and tell them thank you. Okay? Go to the sponsors and tell them thank you. Because that's how all this stuff works. Red Raider for life. Starting to dislike Utah Utes. Fans seem a bit entitled. Dude, where were you a year ago? Man, they've been like this for a while. Nobody liked them when they're in the Mountain West. Nobody liked them in the Pac-12 or whatever conference that was. Nobody likes them now. Nobody likes you, Utah. It's a Utah problem, not us. Chris, number 1, Eagles, number 2, 49ers, number 3, Patriots. Now, I ask questions. I say, and why? So give me the why. Why do you hate the Eagles? Why do you hate the Niners? Why do you hate the Patriots? Jump in on the United Supermarkets chat line. Everybody ready for Thanksgiving? We were having the Thanksgiving text message back and forth, me and the wife. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? What would you like? You want this? Okay, and I'm like, hey, I want to make it easy on you. I want to make it, enjoyable for everybody. I don't want you to spend 12 hours cooking. United Supermarkets and Market Street can make that happen for you and your family. So get on that chat line tonight. JCTT. Sam Levitt, hard new. Tech is fishing in deep into quarterback, not kiddie pool. Hate? He said, hate? Notre Dame. Grew up a Canes fan, but now my hate is mostly Alabama. I assume that's Alabama. They all they represent, or no, my hate is all they represent. So Notre Dame hate. Give us your reasons for the Notre Dame hate. It's all good. Jan gets in kind of early tonight. What are you doing so early, Jan? Usually Jan's like last 5 minutes of the show. Oh, Hyatt's on. I guess I'll grace him with my presence. College UT, pro the Redskins, the Yankees. And yes, Tech will do good in the Bahamas. great opportunity. Wake Forest, you're better than Wake Forest. Purdue, depending on who you ask, number one team in the country. Wish they were playing them in Lubbock, but hey, we get it. They got to do these things. Right now, you've got Tech anywhere from like a 6, 7 seed, hoopshd.com. Let me go through this real quick. Oh, man, good people there at hoopshd.com. They have Purdue as the number one over national seed in the nitty gritty numbers, and Texas Tech is sitting today in real time. Where are we? Texas Tech? As a 10, 11 seed on that. And then on the nitty gritty, Purdue number one in the nitty gritty, and Texas Tech is at 42. And you compare that yesterday. I don't have Dave Allman's sites up, bracketville.wordpress.com. These are the only two sites you need to pay attention to, bracketville.wordpress.com and Hoops HD. Two best in projecting the bracket, real-time analysis, everything about that. Still had Tech, I believe, yesterday at a 3 seed. Early, you've got the Illinois game for Tech. That's really the only thing. If Tech can hang a skin on the wall this weekend, if they can beat Wake Forest and play Purdue and beat them, biggest win in the last 5 years non-conference. Easy on all that stuff. We'll see how they do. JCTT all. I can't remember what we're responding to on that. You guys give us good background. This is a caller clinic, as Rush used to say. When you respond via text, be very descriptive in what you're responding to. Mirror the question to the answer that I'm reading. Mirror the question and say, in regards to blah, 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 I say all. There you go. And that's good on when you guys text into radio shows and everything else. There are so many texts on that chat line that you're going through, and you're hearing something in real time. You go, yes. And as a host, I look at that and I go, I'm not going to read that. I don't know what the hell. Yes to what? So be very descriptive in your answers. Mirror the question back in the form of the answer. By the way, that's something they teach you in politics and anything else when you're being interviewed. A great way to give a great answer is to, as you formulate your answer, to mirror that question back. Robert, I don't hate. I have a great dislike. Robert, you hate. I know you hate. You're a Yankees fan. You got to hate a lot of people. Steven, in my opinion, he's on Twitter X at Ryan Hyatt Media. Best hate marketing was the Lambeer Pistons. I appreciate it more now. So now I was a big Pistons fan in the late 80s. I was not a Bulls fan in the ascendancy of Jordan in the late 80s. I was Pistons, Detroit Pistons, all the way. So I appreciate you bringing them up. Lonnie on Facebook, my second favorite team every Saturday is whoever is playing Notre Dame. Seems like their strength of schedule can be 125, and they get the best poll numbers. Yes, they do. Jan, did my part today, turned some horns down in a display. I love it when people do that, by the way. You're at some store or whatever, they got merchandise for a team you can't stand, and you mess it around or do a little something and have some fun with it. More power to you. I appreciate that. Things I didn't expect to read today. Jeff on Facebook, as a Seahawks fan, we're talking about sports hate today. Teams you hate, college, pro, any and all sports across the board. Who do you hate and why? Why do you hate them? I didn't expect to get any sentence that started with, as a Seahawks fan, will always hate the Broncos and Raiders because we couldn't get past them in the 80s. Yeah. That was a tough division, tough West Coast when the Seahawks were in that area, in that division and playing there. I understand. I love the Seahawks early on. Jim Zorn, Steve Largent. If you were a kid in the mid-70s, you had to like it. And then, the Seahawks' original uniforms were basically modeled after the Dallas Cowboys. Go back and watch their first year. It changed after year one, but they were so close to Dallas. the silver, everything they were doing, the stripes and everything. The Seahawks uniforms were just Dallas Cowboys minus the star with the really good Seahawk thing on there on the helmet. I liked it. Jim Zorn, by the way, former Dallas Cowboy Jim Zorn. Who did the Cowboys trade, and how did the Seahawks end up with Jim Zorn from a Cowboys trade standpoint? And who did the Cowboys get in return out of that trade package? Not directly, but in a pick. Surely Jeff knows this answer. Fire away real quick. Notre Dame is like the Dallas Cowboys of college football. They haven't won anything in 30 years, but they sure act like they do. Amen. Pass the ammunition. James, I hated the San Francisco Giants since they beat the Cubs in the '89 playoffs. I was 9 years old. Happens. Hold on. Giants, Cubs in '89? No, I'm thinking of Padres later on. Never mind. Yeah. I mean, '89 World Series was Giants and Athletics. Did they beat them in a wild card? That wasn't an NLCS, I don't think. Notre Dame. Did we already do that? Yeah. Coming from a Cowboys fan, by the way. Okay, that's different there. JCWT, does Duke just move into Madison Square Garden this time of year and host teams? Kansas State tonight, Tech eventually. Yeah, pretty much. That's what Duke does. Hate the process to get George Strait tickets. TTU fan on Twitter X. Here's all I'm going to say on this. One, I love George Strait. I've seen him probably 13 times, give or take. I think I've seen him more than Willie. My wife wants to go see it. I'm like, all right, they're doing 2 dates, 45, 50,000 seats. Let the people buy up the initial market. I think there's going to be a soft resale market on this later on. I really do. And maybe it's going to hold. Maybe it's going to stay at $300 to $1,200 a ticket. But I'll just say this: you could dig up Buddy Holly, the Big Bopper, and whoever you want, and Johnny Cash, and Waylon Jennings, and put them on a show, and I ain't paying $300 or $400 a ticket to see it. Sorry, I'm not going to do it. Hell, you could take the money that you would spend seeing George Strait at $1,000 a ticket at Jones Stadium, and he's probably going to be playing in Vegas at the Sphere, and you can get in for $250 or $350. How much did you say it cost? About $350. There's another one nobody gets. Okay. I hate all Notre Dame stands for. Clear? Yeah. Okay. I think we're getting that. Jeff, Zorn was cut to make room for Preston Pearson. Zorn's traded, and the trade turns into the draft pick where you get a guy named Tony Dorsett. Cowboys received the rights to draft Tony Dorsett. Right there, Robert Delgado. I don't know if you had to Google it. I don't know how you grok it. I don't know. You got him pretty quick. Knowing Robert, I think he probably knew that. But yeah, you end up getting the rights that turns into the draft pick that turns into Tony Dorsett. For the Seahawks, it actually wasn't a bad deal. You had a generational quarterback in Jim Zorn. You had a decade quarterback, right? And you end up obviously getting Steve Largent. You end up having a pretty decent team there in the early 80s. That it all kind of worked out. That if you get Tony Dorsett in 1977 there it doesn't matter. So it really worked out pretty good. Good move by Tex Schramm, Gil Brandt, and the Cowboys Brain Trust at the time. 300 is outrageous for George Strait. I bought Iron Maiden tickets for $85 and I felt ripped off. I would have paid $85 in 1985 to see Iron Maiden because I saw Iron Maiden in about 1987 for like 20. What was that? No, it was after Flight of Icarus and in that what was the album after that one? Flight of Icarus was like an 83. 83, 84, running through there. Yeah, no. And again, I've seen George Strait. It's a great show. I ain't paying that kind of money to see him in it. And this is, I'm not bagging on the show or anything. Please don't get me wrong. All right. Again, huge George Strait fan. I could reach down here and get like 8 cassettes out of a drawer over here off the side of my desk and go, there's George Strait cassette. $300, man, in a stadium setting. That's the deal for me on a show like George Strait. If I'm in a stadium show, I want Van Halen. I want Triumph. All right. George Strait in a stadium, again, great performer. Yeah. Oh, hold on. A David Collier, not the David Collier from KMAC 28, obviously an impersonator. USC, Leinart, Carroll, Carson Palmer, many others to this day. The University of Southern California. Hatred. Meanwhile, where does Tech land tonight in our beloved Irish? Don't care about Notre Dame. Tech ought to be 5. When are we doing the show? Are we doing it now? Are we doing it 7? What the hell is what in the hell does the show start? Where the hell are the singing cats? Said David Letterman. I think it starts at 7. 2 minutes left. Hate for OJ. OJ started when he interrupted the Rockets game 5 of the finals. Very inconsiderate. All right, so 7:30 Central. I thought it was 7. I don't know. So like the first one was while I was in Red River, New Mexico, and it was after the time change. I'm 2 hours off already with that, and I had no idea what time was anything going on. So I'm like, oh crap, there it is. All right, so 7:30 our time. Yeah, Tech 5. Go from there. And it's so simple. If Tech wins out, they're 3. If Tech loses to West Virginia, I don't know that they make the playoff at all. If Tech beats West Virginia and loses to BYU or whoever, and probably BYU, you're going to be about 10. You ain't going to be 6. You ain't going to be 5. You're either going to be 3 or about 10. So it takes a lot of pressure off. JC Double T. George Strait, BYOB concert dance, Brownwood, 84, not $300. Yeah. I think the most I ever paid to see George Strait was about 30 or $40. Texas Stadium, like 97 or so, 96, 97, somewhere in through there. And again, it's Texas Stadium, and it wasn't, I'm pretty sure it was George Strait. I don't know. That's the show. I had really cool corporate passes. I'm down on the field in the hospitality tents, and all I know is at some point I took my shoes off and I was barefoot. It was really hot. It's really hot. Yeah. Anyhow, Dylan, can we hate the Big 12 Conference in 2022 when they suspended Brian and John? You can hate them if you want to. I thought that was pretty stupid, but they violated the terms of service agreement when you sign up to be an announcer. Twice in my long career doing Big 12 basketball, I got one. I never got anything from the league, but I got stuff passed on to me 2 different times saying you might want to rethink how you phrased what you said. And the implication was clear. Don't say what you said again. 2 times in 25 some odd years of doing stuff over different sports. Saw Dwight Yoakam at the Fair Park, I think 97 or 98 for 15. That sounds about right. I saw him in 1988, except I didn't because he was so drunk. He came out there for a song and a half at the Municipal Auditorium, and then they came out and said, we regret to announce Dwight's got a little bit of a stomach bug tonight. Yeah, whiskey. And the band played like 3 more songs, like halfway, like this odd instrumental medley. And then they're like, "Thanks for coming. Ain't no refund for you." And I don't know, that couldn't have been more than, I don't know, in '88, that couldn't have been more than 15 or $20. Any tech people that were around in '88 might remember this show. James, if A&M beats Texas, does that eliminate UT from the playoffs? No. That actually strengthens their case because that gives them another quality loss. And when you're an SEC team, you don't build quality wins, you build QLs, quality losses. So really, I think Texas is going to try to lose to A&M and ensure themselves. I mean, maybe not 4, but like 5 or 6. Somehow my hate for the Aggies still burns a little hotter than my hatred for the Horns. Interesting. I've always thought Tech fans should hate Austin more than College Station. Although the hatred for College Station is the fact that you have a lot more in common, or we used to, as Texas Tech people when the school was smaller and more ag related and engineering and everything else. We had a lot more in common in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and into the 90s with A&M than UT. I always thought everybody should focus their hate on UT. Now, I don't know. It's a different world. Good TV show. They should have a show called that. I know we're green, white checker right now, wherever Danny is. It was probably George, Tim, and Faith, etc. One of the shows at Texas Stadium saw it as well. Yeah, I think vaguely it kind of wrapped into a long weekend. No, it did wrap into a long weekend. Baseball was involved. No, this wasn't the trip that had Jimmy Buffett, but anyhow, it was a long weekend, and at some point I had no shoes. Did you ever get mad as the play-by-play when the color analyst steps on your talking? I feel like Harris does that a lot. Sorry, I know this is off topic. I worked with great color analysts, and I learned from Jack Dale how to coach your color analyst and how to put them in a great position to be very successful and draw the most out of them. So no, I never really had to deal with any color analyst at any level, high school, college, or otherwise, stepping, because I learned from Jack Dale how to teach them how to do their job so I can do my job. So never really an issue. Now, sometimes they would get excited. Sometimes they would exclaim things, but that was cool. That was in the process of the moment. That was all right. I'll give you a story real quick, Dylan. We're going late here, but you brought it. So this is in the late 80s, early 90s. Jack Dale, longtime voice of the Red Raiders, he's visiting with a buddy of mine named Kent Best, who was a young assistant sports information director at Tech. And back in the day on the radio broadcast, the sports information director would travel and do color on radio with Jack, whether it was the men. Back then it was Kelly Robinson doing men's basketball, and it was Kent Best doing Lady Raider basketball. And, Kent, young guy, doing the Southwest Conference games with Jack, and Jack, told him, I think this was on a flight, either going or coming. And Jack told Kent, said, hey, you're doing a great job, but here's what you got to do. All right. You've got from the time the ball goes through the hoop until they inbound it to get in anything you want to get in. And then I gotta be able to talk after that. But from the time the ball goes through the basket till they put it in play, hey, that's all yours. That's a really bad Jack. I can't get my voice as mellow as Jack these days. Sorry. So good question though. Might have to do a show sometime during the holidays about play-by-play broadcasting and otherwise. Was there a venue you hated calling Tech sports in, baseball or basketball? Yes. The trick to broadcast is when the play-by-play guy stops to take a breath, the color guy talks. UT has actually been better than Tech. The Ags just act like they have been. And Jim closes us out tonight with that one. I'll do a sometime during the holidays. We get a little downtime and everything. I'll do like a broadcasting special. All right, and we'll talk about venues I hated calling games in. basketball, baseball, things like that. We can absolutely do that. Volleyball too. I did volleyball. That was the OG of volleyball, man. TV, radio. I was. I mean, I knew me some volleyball back in the day. We'll do that. We'll do a broadcast special. James, hold me to that. All right, remind me. Now I got to remind you guys, the Power of Five. Go to our sponsors, tell them thanks for supporting us, all that cool stuff. You know what to do. Get on their Facebook pages and everything else and tell them thanks. All right. Gators by you tonight. Ninja Pest Control, United Supermarkets all the time on the chat line. And of course, every night here in the Hat Creek Interior Studios. Go to their website, hatcreek.us. They ship to you. White glove service. It's like as good as it gets, right? Like people that actually know how to deliver furniture, like really good furniture, and not screw it up. That's what they do there for you at Hat Creek Interiors. We're going to post this on the website here at theraiderland.com in just a little bit. Looking forward to visiting with you guys tonight on Twitter X at Ryan Hyatt Media. And then tomorrow, What If Wednesday, Alt History, ready to rock and roll. You guys, really good tonight. Appreciate it. You all better than I thought you were going to be tonight. Not bad.